So a friend of mine at work suggested that I do a review of Mrs. Doubtfire, and well, he asked, will you ever do a review of Mrs. Doubtfire? And so I said, that's actually a really good idea. I will do that next. It's a movie that I've seen many, many times, so it's one of those films that I don't need to watch like the night before in order for it to really stay fresh in me. I've seen enough times where I can just be extemporaneous like I usually am and really bang away at it and give a nice little review of it. Mrs. Doubtfire is one of the funniest movies ever, really. It is. It's not Robin Williams' best film. That's Good Will Hunting. I will say that it's his best comedy. Let's face Robin Williams. There's no beating him. There's really only two films that he's done where it doesn't really seem like he really gave a care about them. Like you could just see him making them, and he'd be like, "What am I doing here?" Those movies are Toys from 1992 and Being Human. I think that's the name of it, Being Human. I don't remember the year of Being Human, but yeah, those are the only two Robin Williams films where he really didn't seem to try. So yeah, because Robin Williams really seems to give it his all and everything, he's just unbeatable. He really is. And Good Will Hunting is my personal favorite film of his. Mrs. Doubtfire is my favorite comedy of his. Of course, he's also really great in other things like Good Morning Vietnam, which is a really awesome film, and Dead Poet Society. I even have a little bit of a soft spot for Hook from 1991. But this review is of Mrs. Doubtfire, so I'll fire away. Mrs. Doubtfire is it's a gender bender. Kind of like it's like Tootsie meets Kramer versus Kramer in a way. He plays a very talented actor named Daniel Hillard, who lives in San Francisco, and he just adores his three children. Those are his most favorite things in the world, his three kids. But he's kind of immature. Like he always loves to party and he's always from job to job. One reason he is from job to job is because of his own principles, and it's pretty admirable that way. It opens up with him um, walking out on something that he thought was very morally irresponsible. So yeah, it's his son's 12th birthday, and he throws a big party. Things get out of hand, and his wife comes home, catches him in the act of throwing a massive party, and yeah, there's a big nasty divorce that gets thrown in right in Daniel's face. So Daniel's ex-wife Miranda, who's played by Sally Field, for some she's the main drawback of the film. I never liked Sally Field's a great actress. See Norma Ray from 1979. She owned that movie. She was so good in it. But I don't know. I guess it's just the way that she was written in Mrs. Doubtfire that I didn't really care for. She just seems to hate Daniel so much, and like he's so lovable. He loves everyone so much, and she hates him for some reason. Yeah, she does say that. Oh, he's irresponsible and he never likes to be serious. But come on, he tries. She okay. The judge during the hearing says that he can only be with his kids 1 day of the week, and yeah, she doesn't do anything about it, and yeah, I never really liked the character of Miranda. So once the judge says that over the course of 90 days, that it's just going to be a 1 day a week sort of thing, visitations with his kids. That's when he decides to dress up as an elderly woman to be his new wife's housekeeper. Because his wife, well, Miranda, she's one of San Francisco's biggest and most successful architects. So the house is insanely big and she works a lot. So yeah, he can really use a lot of money from her and spend all the time he possibly can with his kids. Yeah, that's really what the movie's about in a nutshell, without giving too much of it away, even though I probably already did. Um, yeah, Robin Williams, he ad libbed and improvised a lot of the movie. Director Chris Columbus um, loved everything that Williams was doing. So yeah, he although because Chris Columbus is such a talented director, you can't really see any of the seams and any of the and like really see him struggle to move the camera or anything like you can in some films where the actors just roam freely. Yeah, Williams he does do pretty much whatever, and everything that Williams does in this is so top notch. It's just so funny. And when he dresses up, when he dons the Mrs. Doubtfire alter ego and becomes his wife's housekeeper and a friend to the kids, there's also really wonderful stuff. I never really I never really wanted this film to end because it's just so lovely and wholesome and delightful and enchanting, and of course I can't tell you enough how funny, I can't say enough how funny this movie is. I know that's Robin Williams. What would you expect? Yeah, the character of Daniel, he does grow, he does become better. That's basically a gender bender 1.0, like 10, gender bender 101. Um, whatever the alter ego is makes the regular person better. So Daniel, I guess you could say he wins the respect of Miranda. Although you could say that Miranda just simply becomes less of a tight ass. um, but yeah, he grows, becomes a better person. Yeah. The thing that really makes Mrs. Doubtfire resonate um, and last, because the movie came out in 1993, so decades later, the movie is still as widely loved. Actually, more widely loved now as it was back in 1993, and that's because of the whole concept of divorce. Now, in 1979, when Kramer versus Kramer came out, yeah, it was also a movie about divorce, but it was more about how both parents would be deserving of of people. But Mrs. Doubtfire seems to really try to take a bigger stance against. Um, it tries to tackle more issues about divorce, like like a father being just as good of a parent, and that it's really never the kid's fault that there's ever a divorce happening. Yeah, the way that subject is handled, I thought that it was really smart, and ultimately what makes the movie last as long as it really does. Because if you had somebody else as the Daniel character, I don't think that, but you still had the themes of divorce and the writing of everything. I don't think that the movie would have lasted quite as much as it has. You needed true hilarity and true hearts from Robin Williams, and you needed the writing of the whole divorce aspect. Really, the only thing that I can think of to really nitpick at is the Sally Field character. I didn't like her. She could be sympathized just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So other than Sally Field's character, the movie is bang up and just all around perfect. Sally Field's character is not enough for me to really deduct anything from this film, so I'm gonna give it 4 stars.